Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling quite a mix, a real historical and philosophical mashup, you could say. We've deliberately paired two sources that are, well, centuries apart, and they deal with subjects as different as dirt and democracy, literally.
That's right. On one side, we've got excerpts from The Brother Gardeners. It's this great history book about the 18th century English obsession with botany, gardens, plants, collecting, and then bam, jump forward to a very modern civic manifesto, The Gardens of Democracy.
Right. So your mission for this deep dive is to try and synthesize these two seemingly very different worlds. We need to connect the literal growing of plants, the systems those early botanists created, the historical figures, connect that to the metaphorical idea of growth and systemic change in modern politics.
It sounds like a bit of a stretch, maybe.
It does, but the core lessons, things about collaboration, about cultivating systems, they're surprisingly relevant, unexpectedly resonant, I'd say. Okay, let's unpack this.
So let's start back in the Enlightenment, 18th century England, specifically. Our source material calls it the birth of an obsession with gardens. And it really was. This wasn't just, a casual hobby for a few lords. It was a massive cultural force. It genuinely reshaped how England saw itself, its place in the natural world.
And it wasn't just one person driving it, right? That seems key.
No, absolutely not. The history shows this powerful network, influential enthusiasts. The book calls them the Brother Gardeners. They treated botany like a collective mission.
So who are we talking about? People like Peter Collinson.
Exactly. Collinson the merchant, John Bartram, the American naturalist, sort of self-taught, Philip Miller, the curator, and the big one, Carl Linnaeus, the guy who systematized everything.
And their shared passion, that was the engine.
Totally. Their commitment drove the whole phenomenon. The sources showed they set up what was basically a decentralized knowledge-sharing system. They called it the Commonwealth of Botany.
Commonwealth of Botany. I like that.
Yeah. And it wasn't some formal thing with, government funding. It was all built on collaboration, mutual interest, trust, sending seeds and letters back and forth.
Okay, so understanding how that system actually worked is important for later, right? You mentioned the letters. The communication was quite personal, wasn't it?
Oh, very. Intimate, constant, detailed letters about what grew, what failed, soil conditions. The source even mentions letter titles like Forget Not Me and My Garden. Shows that real personal dedication behind it all.
Behind this, global exchange of knowledge.
Yeah, it was peer-to-peer,
Yeah.
essentially. Collinson, for example, he used his merchant connections. He was the hub, making sure seeds Bartram collected in North America got back safely to England, to the right gardens, the right scientists.
So the collective action of these individuals was the infrastructure.
Precisely. That was the physical infrastructure.
But there was intellectual infrastructure, too. Linnaeus comes in here, I imagine.
Yes, absolutely. When you talk systems, Linnaeus is central. He brought order to the chaos of naming things. His classification system, the binomial nomenclature, two names, genus, and species. It was revolutionary.
Before him, it was just long, rambling descriptions.
Pretty much. Confusing, different everywhere. Linnaeus offered this simple, elegant method. He famously called it my harmless sexual system.
Harmless, huh?
Well, harmless because it classified plants based on their reproductive parts, stamens and pistils, but it provided a universal standard. Everyone could use it.
So not so harmless to the old ways of doing things, then.
Definitely not. It created a global language for botany, allowed scientists everywhere to understand each other's findings immediately, made the whole field scalable.
And that scalability, that connects to bigger things. Power, empire.
Directly. The source makes it clear. This pursuit of natural history got tied up with imperial expansion, knowing, naming, controlling plants from all over the world that reinforce dominance. There's that really striking quote, "See what a complete empire we have now got within ourselves."
Wow. So they saw the knowledge itself as a form of empire.
They did. That feeling of control, of completeness, through cataloging the world.
Okay, so what really stands out there is the sheer power this group achieved just by organizing, standardizing, collaborating around plants.
Yeah, a shared passion turned into something huge.
Which brings us perfectly to the 21st century and our second source. How does that idea of infrastructure, of systems built on shared goals, translate politically today?
That's the perfect bridge, yeah. So we jump to The Gardens of Democracy, Lou and Hanauer, and it's written very much in today's context, political upheaval, debates about social justice, climate change, and critically that feeling that our economic systems are really only working for the the top 1%.
Right. And the authors argue our basic picture of society is wrong. We think of it like a machine.
Exactly, like an industrial machine. Predictable, centralized, controlled by experts pulling levers, big government, big corporations.
But they say that metaphor is broken?
Completely broken. They argue society isn't a machine, it's a garden. Complex, adaptive, needs constant tending, cultivation, decentralized care.
So the call to action is for citizens, for us, to stop being passive, to become gardeners.
Yes, active cultivators. They push for people to, reach across the aisle, collaborate, especially because the old machine is producing such unequal results.
And a big part of this is a mindset shift, redefining prosperity.
A huge part. They call it the redefinition of prosperity. It's got to be more than just GDP growth. The authors say we need to ditch the destructive dog-eat-dog mentality.
The zero-sum game idea. My win is your loss.
Exactly. That has to go.
Okay, let's slow down there. What does this redefined prosperity actually look like, according to them?
Well, it means measuring success by the health of the whole system, the whole garden, if you like. Not just how rich the richest people are. It means looking at community health, sustainability, broad economic security. Because their core idea, their mantra almost, is we're all better off when we're all better off.
We're all better off when we're all better off.
Okay, so prosperity becomes a collective thing, not just individual accumulation.
And the strategy for getting there, how do we achieve that?
It involves systemic decentralization, shifting power, the ability to actually do things, shift back into the hands of individuals, not big government or huge corporations. It's about building local capacity, encouraging civic entrepreneurship, people solving problems in their own communities.
It sounds like quite a powerful message. I know it got some attention. Right?
Oh, yeah, definitely resonated. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau listed it as one of 10 books everyone should read. It's a real call for people to see themselves as, well, owners and designers of their society, not just cogs in the machine.
Okay, so let's try and tie this all together. We've got the 18th century plant guys building a knowledge empire.
Ridiculously organized, yeah.
And 21st century reformers wanting us to tend the garden of democracy.
Right.
The connection seems to be about systems thinking and the power of individuals working together.
Exactly. Let's map out those parallels.
Yeah.
I see three main connections here, linking the soil, so to speak. First, shared passion and collective action.
Okay.
The brother gardeners, they achieved this huge transformation, this botanical empire, just through intense shared interest and really good communication. Those letters, the seed exchanges.
So the lesson for today, using the Gardens of Democracy lens, is that we need that same kind of deep, shared civic engagement, that collective, and maybe obsession isn't the right word, but passion.
I think passion works, a passion for making society function fairly. The manifesto calls for redirecting that energy, away from just consumption or competition, towards collaboration, towards tending the system together.
Okay, that's one. What's the second parallel?
Systemic thinking versus just accepting the structures we inherit. Think about the botanists.
Yeah.
Their success really hinged on Linnaeus' system, that standard classification. Without it, the knowledge couldn't scale. It stayed local, messy.
Right, but hang on. That 18th century system, the one that became an empire, wasn't it ultimately about extraction, control? How do we compare Linnaeus, the great systematizer, to modern activists who want to decentralize power, promote equity? That seems contradictory.
That's a really important point. And it's where the metaphor gets nuanced and useful. Linnaeus proved that organizing knowledge brings power. That's the basic lesson. The lesson today is that we need to analyze and organize our civic systems too, but crucially, with a different goal.
Okay.
We need that organizational clarity, maybe a shared language like Linnaeus provided, but we needed to move away from a self-serving economic model towards one based on we're all better off when we're all better off.
Ah, I see. So we're applying the rigor of systems design.
Yes, but changing the objective, replacing colonial control with communal well-being.
Got it. So the historical lesson is about the method of organizing. The modern one is about the ethics of the organization you build.
Well put, exactly. And the third parallel.
Citizen power, individual action.
Yes. The power of the individual contributor. History shows us these individual enthusiasts, the collector, the letter writer, they drove massive international change. Collinson wasn't Big Botany Inc. He was one dedicated guy managing information flow.
And that lines up perfectly with the civic text, doesn't it?
Perfectly. The emphasis on putting power to execute programs back into individual hands.
Moving away from relying only on big government.
It's recognizing that real systemic change often starts small, locally, grassroots. Like one seed planted by one enthusiast in one small garden could end up changing global botany.
Okay, so let's pull the core metaphor together then.
There's that lovely line in the botany book, all gardening is landscape painting.
Landscape painting. Suggesting intent, right. Design, vision. You don't just let weeds take over.
Precisely. You actively shape it.
Which is exactly what Lou and Hanauer are asking us to do with democracy.
Yes. Act like landscape designers for our society.
Actively shape and cultivate our structures, not just passively accept a flawed system we inherited.
That intentionality, that design thinking, that's the heart of it.
That's the ultimate takeaway, maybe?
I think so. Whether you're dealing with literal plants or metaphorical social structures, growth, health, resilience, it all depends on fostering the right environment, the right soil, and making sure individual efforts contribute to the collective good of the whole system continuously.
It makes you think about the scale of what's possible. That 18th century Commonwealth of Botany, driven by just a handful of people, really, and one key system.
Linnaeus's taxonomy.
And they built an international knowledge empire. That's the power of organizing around a shared vision.
It really is extraordinary when you frame it like that.
So the final thought, the provocative question for you listening.
If that kind of focus, that systematization and collaboration by the brother gardeners could reshape the world through plants, what kind of world could we build today with a truly engaged gardens of democracy?
What shared obsession, what shared passion should we be nurturing now?
One that focuses squarely on that idea. Collective prosperity, not just individual gain. What would that look like?